You're only looking after 2 million? Only 2 million?
Yeah. That's the corporate population that's covered.
Okay, it sounds like the whole employee wellness thing. It's a scam. Who's looking after the rest?
That's a good question.
No one knows.
Thinking that the whole corporate thing sometimes is a scam. All policies and things that are well written that the company will look after you, but I don't think they're doing enough. If they were doing enough, maybe you're going to be looking after 10 million lives.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, why did you choose to become vegan?
So mostly for health reasons.
Okay.
At the time, I found out that I was lactose intolerant, which actually, by the way, 80% of adults are lactose intolerant.
I can't exactly say that you weren't there. I can remember times you weren't there, but it's not like you were just unreachable. And it's not like you didn't make an effort to not be there. Like the earliest times when you started traveling, when I was also still in crash, that whole kidney situation with me, then you had to get off the plane, you had to do all these things. Like I'm sure you would do the same thing.
And I phone, they say he's peeing blood and things are not good and all that.
Sure.
Then I had to get off the plane. I literally said, look, I have to go home. Emergency.
Yeah. What? I suppose from my perspective, thinking about my own kids, there's so much I wish I can prepare them for life. And there's so much I wish I can share, but so much of it you need to experience for yourself. But through these kinds of conversations, I think there's so much that's transferred in terms of learnings.
And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Clock.
How do you deal with stress? How do you handle that?
Coping mechanisms that I have is I go for a run.
Manage stress by obviously being moments like this. Directly saying I'm going off the clock.
Just even a night out.
I'm listening to my favorite music. I go into one of the studios at the gym and I dance.
Sip cocktails and rest and just do nothing.
I ground myself spiritually.
The right amount of stress is good. It helps you push boundaries. So it makes you have a sense that you are alive.
And then just having fun. I mean, there's nothing that beats good conversation and a laugh with the kids and a glass of wine.
Navlika, welcome to Off the Clock. I'm very glad that I finally able to pin you down and get you to be here. And today, me and my son, Matlatsi, we're just going to relax and get to know you better, demystify you, and ask you a lot of questions about, what do you do off the clock. So why don't you just start by you telling us a little bit about yourself, the way you like. I can try to introduce you, but I think it's better if you do it. Yeah.
Thanks so much, and thanks for having me on your podcast. I think this is an amazing platform to have real conversations. I'm Navlika Ratangee, and I'm currently the managing director for Lyra Southern Africa.
Okay.
Lyra Southern Africa was called ICAS Southern Africa before. We rebranded last year.
ICAS.
Yes.
Okay.
After an acquisition from the US. So I've grown up in terms of my career in Lyra. And I suppose there's just such a close synergy in terms of the way in which I like to live my life and what I value and the work that I do. So we in employee well-being and mental health. That's where my passion lies.
Yeah, and again, thank you for inviting me in to see the work that you do and the setup in there. It's quite beautiful. Just the whole setup. I think it's very much in line with Off the Clock podcast. The fact that we spotlighting executive wellness a little bit, what they do off work, and I think a lot of people don't know the good work that you guys are doing in terms of making sure that you don't just focus on making the big companies rich and being number one in South Africa or globally, but looking after yourself, because once all this is done, I think you still have to live your own life on your own. And, often executives are left alone. So, I mean, just getting into that before we move on to Navlika, the person. I mean, how big is your organization in South Africa? And you mentioned about the global, takeover to make this bigger. Just let us in there.
Sure. So we are a global organization. We're in 200 countries at the moment.
200?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have full global coverage. Okay. We're looking after over 20 million lives globally. In South Africa, it's 2 million lives that we look after, and over 1,000 client companies. So it is quite a large footprint. We look after Southern Africa, so it's not just South Africa.
And sorry to interject, you're only looking after 2 million? Only 2 million?
Yeah. That's the corporate population that's covered.
Okay, it sounds like the whole employee wellness thing. It's a scam. Who's looking after the rest?
That's a good question.
No one knows.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the thing is, I mean, after Trump and saying throw away this wellness and D&E, diversity and inclusion and all that, it's a, when we had the event at Gibbs, also just thinking that the whole corporate thing sometimes is a scam. All policies and things that are well written, that the company will look after you, but I don't think they're doing enough. If they were doing enough, maybe you're going to be looking after 10 million lives.
Yeah. I think COVID definitely put a spotlight on well-being, which is a positive thing. It's now, not so much a tick box exercise. More and more employers are taking more responsibility. But there's a lot of work to still be done. I'm sure you're encountering that in your conversations as well. If we look at executives as a starting point, we've seen such an increase in executives committing suicide. So the stresses are real, and organizations are needing to pay attention to that.
But that's what we've realized on this platform, that because we interview CEOs like yourself, that no company will ever pay you enough, because you're just giving, life for money, and in a lot of cases, what we've heard here is some of these companies don't pay for this, wellness visits to be, your center. I have to pay for myself. But who's killing me? That's the company.
Yeah, so that is a good point that you're making, because whilst employee well-being is a little bit more well-known, executive well-being is not often spoken about. And I think it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, because it's almost as if you're employed as an executive, you're expected to cope with stress. That's the expectation that the organization has on you. In this role, you need to deal with stress. But the other side of that is, as an executive, I think they put the pressure on themselves as well, that I am an executive, I'm supposed to be able to deal with this. And so the whole notion of reaching out for help when you need it becomes tougher. And so that's why we have, at the moment, a very strong focus on executive well-being.
Can I just interject there? You spoke about, you separated the two of employee well-being and executive well-being. So where's the cutoff where they because the executives are still employees at the end of the day. So where's the cutoff between you're just an employee, and then it's like, okay, you're employee plus, like type of, you upgraded your subscription to this business. So
That's a great question.
Where's that cutoff? Because you could be a manager in a team, and then I guess you would still not be considered an exec, but until you get to, I don't know, maybe 4 positions above you still. So where's, like, what determines that he's not allowed to get the employee well-being benefits because he's of this position versus someone like me who you could say I've only been working like the last 5 years?
Right. Yeah, it's a great question. And there are some organizations that are very clear about their stance around that, where they would say, we have the same offering across the board. So the services that the cleaner has access to, the CEO also has access to. You know, there's a sort of very much an equal playing field. So that is the premise that we come from. So the services are available in terms of across the board. It's exactly the same services.
What is the
reality? The distinction, though, that we're making in terms of the executive well-being services and programs that are on offer is a much more bespoke, tailor-made service for the executive type of lifestyle and the stresses that they are dealing with in specific. So one differentiator is that the way in which that service is set up, it's a lot more proactive as opposed to reactive. Also taking into account that executives don't reach out for help, even though they need it. They have the busy diaries, so they don't make time for themselves. So the program is set up slightly differently. And in terms of who is eligible for that, we don't decide that, the company decides that. So they would decide that the top 3 layers, as an example, we consider to be the executive population or the senior management population, and we want them to have access to this level of services.
Isn't that also in a way a flaw? If you let the companies decide that no, only these people are worthy of this type of treatment, where it's like, shouldn't you guys also on your side be able to determine, like if they gave you a breakdown of the organization structure and be like, okay, we have this level of employee all the way going up. These are how the teams look. Cool. Wouldn't you guys be able to properly identify where?
So everybody's eligible for the employee wellbeing services. Yes. So just to sort of make that part of it very clear, it is a discussion that we have in terms of what do the layers look like, and what we recommend. But at the end of the day, it's also a commercial decision. So, the organization is the entity that's paying for the services, and then they have to decide how many people are eligible for the basket of goods available. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I've seen, having been this other side of the table. By other side of the table, being CEO, being kind of seen as the employer, which is, to be frank, it's like a scam. It varies from company to company. Navllika's company doesn't define those policies. It's a market dynamic, which is right or wrong. As you said, I mean, some firms will offer everybody. Some firms will say there's 3 layers are getting this type of, executive wellness packages. You go check twice a year. You sit in a jacuzzi, you go through treadmill, you have a good meal, you have massage on you, and other people are back at the ranch, nothing of those side. But at the same time, like I said earlier, being a CEO or a chief operating officer or head of department that's not performing, that's killing you. I don't think anybody will ever pay you enough to do that job. If you think about, I'm not sure if you're a doctor, but diseases that are caused by stress, and some of them are cancers. Too much stress will induce certain cancer types in your body. And because it happens down the line, it's you kind of don't see it by the time you left the company and gone. When I traveled to many countries on the continent, people get a type of kind of diseases that are infectious diseases that grow over time. By the time it explodes, you left the company, and you can't say for sure, I got this disease working for you company, I don't know, X, Roche, GSK, whoever health company, which I think just on this platform, talking to leaders, you realize that businesses like yours should be exploding. If you think about CEO of Nedbank, how much money they're looking after and making for that company. I know other people look at it and saying, the salary gap is so big, but everything is on those guys. So I'm not making a case for company to discriminate, to look after them, but the way that they carry on their shoulders, it's big, and also having worked for many global companies that are New York or London stock listed companies. When they want their results, they want them. They're not listening to the excuses. I remember I was on a results call on my previous company. The regional commercial guy for the rest of the world was screaming on the call and swearing and saying he's not interested in a weather report about Africa. Cape Town is cold, sales are not there. Joburg and Nairobi. I was like, he wanted his results because they're staying, in the way for his bonus, which is killing us. I get home, I can't sleep by, drinking.
So after everything you just said, especially everything we've spoken about on this platform, the people we've spoken to, also what you've seen on the field and in your industry, how this actually affects people. I'm sure you've actually seen the tangible ways it actually affects people. It has people let's say me thinking is this whole CEO thing, trying to climb the corporate ladder or being corporate, is it worth it at the end of the day? Because now we're in an age where there's platforms like this where people can give feedback on this is what it's actually like to live this life. And I don't want to say, I want to say the people who, instead of CEOs where you're working for a company, the CEOs or the leaders that have started their own businesses where everything starts and stops with them, basically. One question. What is the difference that you've seen between those CEOs? How do they handle such stress? Because the guys here who are working for another company that's not theirs, it just sounds like they have a boot on their neck the entire time. And whether they survive that boot on their neck, it's up to them. And no one cares after that. Whereas these guys here, if they make their company work, let's give Richard for an example. Richard made this whole thing work. He's still working at Cash Converters to this day. He looks like he's a happy guy. He goes fishing in Cape Town. There's a big difference, right?
You'll come up with a big fish.
Exactly. So there's a big difference in terms of is this whole me going to work in corporate, is it actually worth it at the end of the day? Me sacrificing 20 years of my life just to get to this position, and then 10 years after that, I've got a disease because I was overstressed the last 30 years. And you've been saying it yourself that this corporate thing, the more you look at it and the more you speak to people who've been at the heights of this corporate thing, the more you see it as a scam, especially in the ways they take care of you. The company itself takes care of you.
What do you think? I've lived it. I've been CEO.
No. What I think, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's
don't think that's
you know, you're in a lucky position that you're speaking to one CEO, you're speaking to. We've done about 43 of these
Wow.
interviews. That's a big enough sample to know. You know, there's a lot of glory and glamour in it, but the pain is there. But also think about it, the naivety of a young CEO getting the title, like I'm a big boss, but actually you don't even know what you're doing yet. And remember some of the people, for popular reason, some of the people that we interviewed that are young and still up and coming and say, I got no life. I just work, which is so dangerous. So what we're trying to do on this platform is the work-life balance. You know, that, you know, the work is it's just a small temporary phase of your career. Your life is forever. You know, you need to, you know, keep that in mind and keep it balanced. If I were to do it differently, or do it again, I'll do it differently. Think about it. Earlier in my career, I was, you remember, I was traveling like crazy. I made a SA lifetime platinum in like this. I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that. And I mean, if I can do it again, I'll do it differently. I will take you to school every day, often. I'll take you to that cricket or rugby match. I'll be with you all the time, as opposed to choosing work all the time.
But okay, I would say, in my own experience of like growing up and you having the job that you had, I would say it was okay. I mean, experiencing for the first time as a child, and then like me looking back on it now as like an adult and being able to process and actually understand what was actually happening. It was like, I can't exactly say like you weren't there. I can remember times you weren't there, but it's not like you were just unreachable. Like, though, like, and it's not like you didn't make an effort to not be there. Like, the earliest times when you started traveling, when I was also still in creche, that whole kidney situation with me, then you had to get off the plane, you had to do all these things. Like, I'm sure you would do the same thing again, right?
Yeah, but I mean, let's just let you in the kidney story, so that you appreciate a little bit of intel about our family. I was on a business trip to San Francisco, and I went to kindergarten to fetch him and the sister. In fact, because they were gonna drop me at the airport that afternoon, so my wife, all of us were together. Got two children, him and the sister who's older. And then when he got to the school, he was on this scooter, whatever, hit him around here, the kidney, and, you know, he said, oh, no, I'll slip it off. He likes to say he's got a pain or headache, he's slipping things off. They dropped me at the airport for my, you know, kiss, hug, boom. I used to just make a last call before the plane leaves. And I phoned, they say he's peeing blood and things are not good and all that. Sure. Then I had to get off the plane. I literally said, look, I have to go home. Emergency. Like,
yeah.
What? Like, I remember there's still this big 747, this ugly Boeing plane with a big nose and a double story a little bit upstairs. Then they had to find my luggage and get me off. And then the first time I experienced how do you reverse back that movement of going through the security check and all that. Yeah. Got through the back and then...
Didn't even think about that.
Fortunately, I was taking doctors to a congress in San Francisco Convention. One of them brought the car at the airport. So he gave me the keys. I said, I'll see you there. I took the keys and I drove home and went to the hospital and take care of him at the hospital. Slept one night and he was fine. Put him back home and then took the flight the next day.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was there.
That's okay, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is that I can't necessarily say you chose your job over your family. which I'm sure other people can say, unfortunately, they've experienced that, right? So basically what I was getting is that you managed that well, or the best that you could.
I think you're generous, yeah.
No, but like what I'm just trying to say is that
Your
like
experience,
the
yeah.
first instance of like me like remembering of you traveling when I was like 6 years old when this thing happened. Old now. So I can remember the fact that like when you started traveling, it's not like you chose work all the time over your family, especially when there was something there. And I think also maybe some people make that mistake, right, of choosing the job over the family, like prioritizing that. So in a way, I was gonna say is like I can't fault you for having the job you had because you did the best you could. Whereas with other people, they might have a totally different experience. They might see things very differently. So also at the end of the day, it's like whether I say the whole thing is worth it or not, it's like it's also up to the person how they handle the thing. So where I'm saying is that you said you would do things differently if you could go back, right? But I'm also saying is that there's some things that you also don't have to do differently because you were still there for us, even though you had the expectations of the job that you had.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for a little bit of that detail, but I'm almost emotional about that because there are a lot of things that I missed out of because of work, my things. I remember I couldn't attend the funeral of a bad close friend that I went to high school with because I had to stay over in Europe and not come back for the weekend. I missed the funeral, He died way too young and I was not available for that. So the stuff that I wanted to do that I couldn't do. There was time when I was forced to stay again over in Europe where they said it's your choice, Peter, because they invited me to the board meeting for the global board in Belgium. And the week before I was in a meeting in Warsaw. I said, I can go to Joburg and come back, fine. But I thought about that logistic.
From Poland back to Joburg, then back up to Belgium.
I'd rather take a flight with my friend who go to Prague and eat, duck and dumpling and then go to Belgium. But I mean, the whole romantic stuff about work, killing yourself, that's what I'll do different. But I know that when it came to the family, I was more kind of forceful and strict, So, I mean, I'm sure you see and hear a lot of all these things. Some people think it's fun, but it's not fun. When I was stuck twice in the US because of snow and having to find my way back home and fight the whole thing and spend the weekend at the airports.
Is this also when your bag got lost as well?
Exactly. I mean, so that stuff, yeah. I mean, and it's also very important that people like yourself know this early enough that you know what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what is paid for, because that's just killing your body, going through all that. When I got to New York in the middle of Jan, when I'm less prepared for that harsh winter, you've been to New York when, the town is closed and they're scraping the ice all over. Nobody's buying it or closed. You buy yourself, it's not part of the deal, So, just to summarize and exit out of this topic is that and we've seen it here, it was amplified and it's been amplified on this platform that especially executives, not just employees or all employees, are suffering way too much for the companies that they're not being paid for, And you think about it, I traveled to Canada few times when it was minus 30 in Montreal. I had to buy those warm jackets with my own money.
What's funny is that
I'm keeping them in the wardrobe.
No use for them here.
So it feels like funny shopping, but I mean, you know. So when you get into a job that makes you travel to the world, I can brag over a drink that I've been to 60% of the world, but I was taken there by the company that didn't prepare me for, you know, Abu Dhabi weather, or where it's very hot in Cairo, for instance, and difficult, you know. So you have to weigh those sides. I'm much more wiser and clever, and I think that's why we are spotlighting wellness in general, because companies don't do enough. A lot of companies will give you a helpline number, you know, by the time your wife is leaving you or your husband, because you like not there. If you're there, you're busy with work. You're taking work at home. You don't leave work at work. And, you know, it's like you're always busy with your work. I'm sure you've seen that in movies and everywhere else. So
maybe just to add on the concept you brought up in terms of work-life balance, and perhaps leaning a little bit into your question as well. So personally, I don't like the term work-life balance. I think it's quite limiting from the perspective of, in fact, there's even research that's been done about it, that the term work-life balance actually causes more anxiety, because it suggests that we need to be spending equal amounts of time in work and life. What it also suggests is that work is not part of life. It's as if it's two separate entities. So I like the term work-life integration a lot more, because I think it's more inclusive. Because what it also highlights, to your question around is it worth it, is work is a big part of some people's identity. And it's a big part of life satisfaction. I absolutely love what I do every single day. It's incredibly purposeful work. I love that I can reach people, and that is as a result of the position that I'm in. I wouldn't have this reach if I was not in this position. So for me, that part of it makes it worth it. So I suppose it's the lens that you're looking at it from as well. It's also an opportunity for me to do things differently as a leader. So having insight into how things go wrong and how, leaders are not being looked after, etc., and the stresses that they face. How do I change the narrative around that? How do I practice it differently in my own organization? And what kind of a leader am I at the end of the day? So another aspect that makes it worth it is that I'm growing and learning every day. So just to add a different lens to that.
No, look, I mean, we get the Navllika, we get the general understanding that, work-life balance means different things for different people. And we've heard from this platform that if you found what you like in your work, it's a lifestyle. But a lifestyle...
That's also few and far between, like the people like Navllika who actually love their job versus the people who's like, I have a job because I need a job.
But that's why I said if you found an if.
Yeah, the if.
A big if. Because a lot of people wake up and go to work crying because they need to pay the bills, but they don't love what they're doing. They can change it like this. But I mean, work also, remember, it's a fantasy for a lot of people. Think about the discussion that we had when you're small. What do you want to be when you grow up? You've been changing that topic every day. Okay. Some people say, look, I mean, the simple thing and say, I want to be air hostess. I want to see the whole world.
Yeah.
And being air hostess, that's a crazy place to be, because people just don't understand. They think you're flying around. It's fun.
Yeah.
At what price? And some people also realize and say, look, I want to work in the cruise ship or fishing ships or whatever, where you're gone 6-8 months, no family. No friend is gonna wait for you. The family, you can't attend family functions. You can't do all those things. Those things from far, they look so beautiful. I want to be a CEO. CEO, you're lonely. You get to know secrets that not a lot of people get to know it. Like me, like you. People come tell you that my wife is leaving and you must try to help. And it's not part of your job description. But when you want to be those things, you don't understand the collateral that comes with being those things. I mean, I almost can write a book on, it's almost stressors that you get exposed to. When somebody stole $500 million at work, I didn't prepare for that stuff. And I had to deal with that. When I got to hear what they did and killed family members and did a lot of other stuff, in that process, I needed a pill. I don't know which one. So it's again, I mean, finding, as you said, finding work that you like, and then it becomes your lifestyle. But working in the mine underground, looking for gold, that's got its own risk. It's a job. Yeah. All kinds of careers. But the question is it worth it? That's why some people become writers. I support an NGO called Global Girl Media, which have a sole purpose of getting underprivileged young girls into film, photography, and journalism. And I got to meet people who produces movies and all that. They're different type of people. They like to use natural things like grass and things. But they think differently about life. But it's just a different kind of exposure that I look at as like, but they're very proud of their creative work and the stuff that they do. But that's not for everyone. And, moving from trying to make a movie to trying to get to a blockbuster, which some people never make it. Some people make the blockbuster, but it doesn't, make them rich. I mean, I chair the board of that NGO. And so one of the board member was co-producer and director of this movie called Hotel Rwanda. That was a big movie. I mean, in current times where DRC and Rwanda are involved in some sort of a war and things, which kind of take us back into that movie a little bit, So different careers, I mean, your friend at high school was saying he wanted to be a chef.
Pastry chef, yes.
Yeah. So thinking about all that, that's it's very fun and romantic. But once you're into that and I put you in a big bakery and kitchen, and you have to do those pastries,
deal with the stresses
in volumes and all that in a heat that is above normal heat, is like you regret. A lot of people change careers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it also begs the question around, how much are we investing or talking about elevating the level of self-awareness? Because I think a lot of the more you understand yourself and the more you understand what environment you thrive in and what fills your cup and, what gives you joy at the end of the day, the more you're making decisions in alignment with that.
Yeah. But that also comes with I mean, you are right, like the whole self-awareness thing, but also I think that has to be paired with the experiences you've got for you to be like, okay, I definitely don't like this.
Yeah, it's important to know what you don't want as much as it is
Yeah.
important to know what you do want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's zoom a little bit into you. Are you married with kids? Happily married with kids?
I am a single mom.
Okay.
I have 2 boys. The eldest is 15, turning 16 this year, and the youngest is 11, turning 12.
So divorced?
In the process of.
Okay. So how are you coping? I mean, you are in the wellness space. I'm sure you're coping well.
So
Doctor for the doctor.
I don't mean to sound cliche, but I am doing well.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. It's really been such a growth experience, actually, and I am in a good space. And my kids are doing well, which is, they are my priority. And yeah.
How did you meet the husband of your kids?
When we were very young, actually. I was 15 when I met him for the first time.
Cool.
We were in different schools, but we, as part of the youth that get together, we had a cultural show program, and I'm a dancer, so I was dancing at that.
He liked your moves.
Yeah, so I was dancing at that event, and he was actually modeling at that event, so that's where we met.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would thought the positions would be switched. But, okay.
Yeah.
That's the fun about this platform, because different personal stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had a big wedding?
Not in terms of the big Indian wedding, right? Okay. So my older sister, we 4 girls. Okay. I don't have any brothers.
No brother, okay.
Yeah. And
maybe that's why you just have sons.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, it's funny because my second sister, I'm the third. Okay. The second one also has 2 boys. So the grandkids are only boys at this stage.
Making up,
Yeah.
It's like the grandfather must be like, these are my sons.
Yeah. My older sister had a big Indian wedding. She had 900 people at her wedding.
What?
Yeah.
What venue do you put 900?
Yeah, in those days, I mean, it's a good over 20 years ago now, but in fact, 25 years ago, but it was those community weddings, right? At the community center, and, you roll out those trestle tables and you feed everyone in bulk. It's not the kind of weddings we sort of exposed to now. So I had a relatively small one. It was actually 250 in the actual temple itself, and then I had a slightly bigger reception afterwards with 400 people.
These are reasonable numbers.
Yeah, things have changed a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it like between all your sisters, like all of you are learning from the older sister that this big wedding thing doesn't work?
Shem, we really did feel sorry for her, because for her, it wasn't her choice. Okay. It was, with the eldest in general, it's a family wedding. The family makes the decisions. And so we got more of a choice because now the family wedding was done. Okay.
Shouldn't there be like 4 family weddings? Yeah. Like with this logic.
It's that whole mindset of the family wants to invite everybody they know, whether or not they've been a part of
the person's
life.
Actual,
exactly, my sister's life or not. Although we did grow up in the community, and we were very active in the community.
So all 900 people knew your sister.
And it's boys' side and girls' side, and oh my word, yeah. It's massive. Yeah, and there's lots of pre-wedding functions as well.
How many pre-wedding functions?
At least 3, sometimes 4. Yeah.
Okay,
And it's the same numbers invited for all of those functions, hey? So it's like 900 times 4 in terms of the functions.
That sounds like exhaustion.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are there different proceedings on these functions, or these are just functions for functions?
No, there are different proceedings in terms of the...
like culturally what
correct,
you do there.
Correct,
okay,
yeah.
cool.
Like a cleansing ceremony and then the blessing ceremony.
So those all need their own...
Yes.
You can't... Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
and all with their own outfit. So, yeah.
The person who's paying for the wedding must be like, yo.
And if you come from a sort of traditional, I'm Gujarati, which is north of India.
Mm-hmm.
If you come from a traditional Gujarati home, it's the girl's family that pays for the whole function.
The whole function.
And my dad
As
has...
in all 4 functions?
Yeah. My dad has 4 girls.
Oh,
so
no.
expensive exercise. It's not like that now. You know, it's a lot more balanced. And people split the costs. Yeah.
So it's like, in a way, the traditions have like caught
evolved,
up with the times.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good because the family wedding. Eh?
Yeah, no, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Weddings are not cheap.
All right. So let's get a little bit about you, more you in terms of, you know, how well you are, how many hours of sleep you do a day.
So now this week is not a good week to ask that question. This week I've been lucky to get at least 4 hours of sleep a night. It's just been an incredibly busy week. My kids are busy with tests this week and next week because it's end of term. Yeah, it's that time of the year. So I'm very involved in their schooling life and, you know, all the studying that goes with it. So it's been minimal hours of sleep as a result of that. Growing up, as a teenager, I went through a phase where I was like, sleeping is not good. Like, you know, there's so many things you could be doing. And it was, I think it's the opposite actually now, because if I think of my teenage son, he can sleep at any given point for hours at a time. I wasn't like that. I was very, very much wanting to do creative things. And I would stay up late doing things that fuel me. And so I was happy doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think like that anymore. Sleep is important. But yeah, I guess it's just a busy life that I don't get to have a lot of sleep.
How many hours, Navllika?
I would say on average, when things are not as crazy as it is right now.
4 hours this week, but on average?
On average, about 6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay. That's enough. Most soldiers sleep 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready and strong for the for the battlefields.
Yeah. So my son comes home from school and he's exhausted because he slept late. So he has a nap first while I'm still working, and then he gets up and now he's ready to work at 8-9 o'clock at night, and so it becomes a late night then for me.
Okay, he takes a rest and then
he's ready to go again.
Later,
and
wait, how long is this nap? What time does he come home?
He gets home about 5.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if he's getting home at like 3. And
no.
Nap.
I wish they have such busy days. They have such a hectic extramural program, and so it gets late. I wouldn't say too many, but maybe sometimes it feels like too many. He does swimming at the moment and competitively, so it takes up a lot of time.
Isn't that an early morning thing? Okay, but the training is early
some of it is
thing.
early morning. A lot of school time is missed as well. And then he does parkour. Both of them do parkour. They both do swimming and they both do parkour.
That's a thing? That's cool.
No, they do it on the weekend. On a
I
Saturday
was about
morning.
to say, it's like, I didn't even get wind that they were doing this at schools now. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I think it's amazing for your body, for kids in particular.
It helps you build muscle or have a lot more control over your body.
Yeah, and just knowing the limits of your own body.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we didn't have that growing up. I just danced.
You're still dancing?
I wish I was dancing more. I'm not dancing at the moment, but whenever I do get an opportunity to dance, then I'm there. I used to do Indian dancing. I did many different types of Indian dancing.
So,
yeah, classical Indian dancing.
It's a pity you don't have space to show off your skills.
For another day. Yeah.
So tell me, I see you on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn too. My son here thinks it's just a workers page.
Yeah, that's you opened that app to be more stressed from what I see.
So, you travel. Do you travel quite a bit outside South Africa, globally?
I do, but it's not a lot of trips a year. Yeah. So we do attend a global conference every year. So there's at least one trip every year.
Any favorite city destination around the world?
I love travel. I love learning new things, exposed to new ways of living and whatever. So I can't say there's been a place that I've gone to that I haven't enjoyed.
But favorites?
I'm thinking now, what is the favorite? So the last trip was to Barcelona.
Okay.
And
to Catalonia.
Not bad.
It was just stunning. I really like it. It felt very real compared to London, as an example, or even going
when
to
you
Portugal.
Say real, what do you mean?
Exactly? The people felt real. And like there was a lot.
In London, the people are made in China.
No. Maybe I'm actually comparing it more to Dubai, actually, where it's a lot more made up and, a lot
Dubai
more about the brands and the...
Yeah, it's a very curated place.
Correct. And so because I've done a few trips to Dubai recently as well, Barcelona just felt a lot more like people are authentic and, comfortable just being who they are in shorts and sandals. And, so that was the feeling and the vibe of the place. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's Spain is also rich in culture and the differences are big. Like, I've been to Barcelona a few times and also Madrid. As you go deep in town, you see all this bistros or something where they hang this pork legs on the windows and all that, and you want their salami. They just slice from that. They dry them on.
Yeah.
It's just you don't find it anywhere else. It's very common there, and I actually tested it and went into one of the bistro and asked for a ciabatta bread and those slices. It's tasty and nutritious.
Yeah, that's one thing I enjoy doing actually when you go to different countries is just looking at the fresh produce. And it's so interesting to see how different it looks in different countries. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, last year when I went to Cairo a few times and was... we went to this outside the city, this private hospital, and outside there's just a market of fruits, and the Egyptian mangoes are so it's like they're freshly squeezed from the mango. They're so thick and you feel like you're eating mango but you're drinking it. So those subtle differences about things and fruits, and you see it on the road and all that. And Yeah, travel has been quite interesting. I'm just finishing writing a book on my experience traveling 44 countries on the continent, and and you really see the big distinction between one country to the other. Culturally, something else. And I remember in 2023, within basically 2 weeks, I went to Rwanda and Cairo. Was just unbelievable. Was like a PlayStation game in my head. I mean, Rwanda is just so organized and clean, and motorbikes have a motorbikes lane. They wear helmets, either red or white, whatever colors, and then they are wearing gloves and proper attire when they go. And then the following week, I went to Cairo, and the plane lands a bit early, I think 5:36 and all that. So as I was leaving the airport on the highway, I'm sure you've been to Cairo.
I haven't.
It's quite
actually.
hectic streets. Traffic is there. There's no lanes.
I
Everybody
believe it's
just
very
goes
much like India.
Exactly. I've been to north of India, northwest of India. Very much similar. Traffic goes like a boat in the water. They hoot a lot, but I mean, one thing connected to what I saw in Rwanda, Kigali, was this guy in Cairo on a motorbike, on slip slops, vest, no helmet, no gloves, in town, like on this bike. It's like such a big contrast, to safety and all that. And
because you're not going at a speed as well. It's the same in India.
No, but that was going quite fast.
Oh, really?
No, zero safety and like making a cross, you come back home.
No, that guy had places to be. He wasn't worried about the formalities of driving a motorbike.
Talking about safety now.
No, I get it. I'm just saying he wasn't worried. He had places to be.
Yeah.
So, you can say that again. In terms of music and dance, you said more Indian type music and dance.
I'm a sucker for a good Bollywood movie too.
Bollywood?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And the Bollywood storylines. I definitely enjoy watching Indian movies. It's a very different storyline. Some of it is lots of fantasy around how life could look like or should look like, or
How would you rank Nollywood and Bollywood? Or you haven't?
I haven't really ventured in the Nollywood. Yeah. I can't say that I can make an educated comparison there. Yeah.
An Indian friend of mine once told me that Nashri, she lives in Devon, and saying, I'm happy that I'm Indian and I was born in South Africa. I could be a doctor and do what I'm doing. If I was born in India, I had no chance. I mean, the competition to rise up from that challenge of 1.2 billion Indians, so I don't know how many girls to be where I have to be, was like swimming against the stream. I mean,
it is hectic, and I see, in terms of many people that I know in India, literally 4 degrees and still no CEO job.
It's not worth it, right?
Really?
It's not worth it.
No, they want it. It's not possible. Competition.
That's what I'm saying. 4 degrees, sometimes even 2-3 master degrees, and they're still doing an office job, The competition is tough. It really is. So there's lots of opportunity here, I think.
So different.
But I'm a glass full kind of person, so
we can see it.
Oh, you can see it.
Such
Good.
a bubbly person. So I wanted to ask. I don't have the question fully formed in my head, but I wanted to say, what is the for Indian people, the full difference of living in South Africa and then as opposed to just living in India, because there is a big population of Indian people in South Africa. So I would guess that like you guys already have, in a way, a community. So your community here versus the community in India, what would you say is like the contrasts and differences? And like you said, there's more opportunity here, so there's more opportunity for you to thrive here, whereas there you have to be literally the cream of the crop if you want to thrive. You have to have like 6 masters if you want to do those things.
So I am South African through and through. So I mean, I don't even I can't even say that I have a community in India. So I am now second generation in South Africa. So my grandparents on my mom and dad's side are both originally from India. They were born there, they lived there, they schooled there, and then moved here either just before marriage or just after marriage. So there is still family that side. If we go there is family to visit, but life is so different there. There's lots of beautiful things to connect with and understand, and that's just the love of travel, I suppose, in a nutshell. But yeah, this is home. The community is here.
So when you go there, it feels more foreign to you.
It feels like I'm traveling to one of the different countries.
Even though there's like more people that literally look more like you, and
it's
like
actually
more
weird.
culturally like you as well.
Yeah, it's actually weird to be surrounded by just Indians.
But I mean, just to add to what you're saying, I mean, my kind of experience and exposure is I don't think there are a lot of Indian people here in South Africa. It looks like there are a lot of Indian people here because of the Indian culture I don't know if it's still like that, big families and always being together and all that. And I've got a lot of friends, when they travel on holiday, they will go together. So it feels like they grew up a lot, which makes them feel like there are many Indian people here, but they're not actually, if you look at the real numbers, because it's 4% of the population.
Yeah, it's a very small number, but the family values is a very strong value.
Togetherness
across,
and like we mob you, and also because culturally it's so strong in terms of the food and colorful dress. And everything else.
Yeah.
So
you kind of notice.
You can't ignore it. You see it. You eat curry so hot. You remember the heat. So it's and that's been my experience. That it feels like that, but it's not like that.
Yeah, you do things together. Like we just came back from a family trip in Port Elizabeth. It was all my sisters and the nephews and the grandparents. So it was a trip together.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Makes sense then.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should be kind of smoothing out of this interview. Maybe before we get to parting shots, do you have any question that you've been burning to ask Navllika, but I didn't give you a chance?
Burning. What did I want to ask you? I think something we didn't touch on was, you did touch on it lightly, but I think what I actually wanted to ask was, are you a foodie?
Mm-hmm.
And then if yes, where, like when you traveled, which was the place that like really caught your taste buds in terms of, this food is amazing?
Yeah. So
maybe before you answer, it's like, for me in my head is that it's so difficult to see any Indian who's not a foodie.
Okay, well, I don't know if you've had this on your podcast before, but I'm a vegan.
Okay.
So I've been vegetarian my whole life. I'm born in a vegetarian family. So I've never tasted meat in my life. And my sisters have tasted, but I've just never tasted meat. And in the year of COVID, 2020, I became vegan. So I swapped from vegetarian to vegan. And my youngest son is actually vegan as well. But that was a choice when he was 7. He made the choice to become vegan.
Did he fully understand that choice?
You know, it's an interesting one. The kids are so mature these days in general. He went to a dairy farm for a school excursion. And when he came home from the dairy farm, he said to me, I asked him, how was your day trip? How was your trip, school trip? And he said, Mom, he says, I don't know who humans think they are. And I was like, what happened? And he says, we all had to milk the cow. And the cow was so unhappy about being tugged at, basically. And the cow was kicking and everything. And he says, and all the kids were laughing. The kids, as if he's not the kid. The kids, the kids were all laughing. The kids were all laughing. And he says nobody could see the distress that the cow was in. And he's like, I've decided I'm becoming vegan. It was all in the same conversation. And he says, because I don't want any part of this. And I was like, what is this child saying? Did he comprehend what he's actually saying? And I said, but you know that means no ice cream, no margaritas, like these are some of your favorite things. He says, we were at the dairy farm. We discussed all the products that have dairy in it. I know what I'm giving up. And he has not gone back on that. He's very much a lover of animals. He's very much an environmentalist, you know. An old soul, if I can call it that. And he's made that decision and he's stuck to it.
Okay. So you and him are like vegan buddies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Solidarity in the house.
Yeah.
In the family, yeah.
And the oldest one eats everything. So,
so
yeah.
Okay. Why did you choose to become vegan?
So mostly for health reasons.
Okay.
So at the time, I found out that I was lactose intolerant, which actually, by the way, 80% of adults are lactose intolerant.
It's because you guys stopped drinking milk at a certain
so it's very common, actually.
Yeah.
But then when I found out that I was lactose intolerant, I gave up the milk, and it was almost like, well,
just become vegan.
Just give up the dairy, and I'm vegan, actually. So that's what actually prompted it at the time. And it's had a lot of health benefits for me. I really, you know, from an energy perspective, skin, hair, everything. It's been a good move for me. I feel good. Yeah.
That's good.
But then coming to the foodie question, it's not so easy. To find vegan food wherever you go.
Yeah.
It is becoming easier now. There's a movement towards veganism, so you do find it more. Europe was tough. I remember when I went to Portugal some years back, being a vegetarian, it was tough. Now being a vegan, I don't know. I'm going again this year, so I'll see how much they've progressed. But like London, Barcelona, it wasn't a problem at all. Everywhere you go, there's plenty of vegan options.
They accommodate you.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. And it's on the menu now. So, you know, you don't have to ask for them to make a plan for you.
Just choose.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, for me, I love trying new foods, vegan foods. But, it's a treat for me when I can choose more than one thing.
Oh, that's good.
Because many menus will offer something, but just one thing. That's
or like
vegan.
max 2 options.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
yeah.
I don't even like those options.
Yeah.
So some parting shots. Any questions for us? Me and my son. A revenge moment.
I think it's beautiful, this whole concept, if I take it more to like a philosophical kind of level. I think it's a beautiful concept in terms of what you are creating together. And the time and the learnings and the conversations that you're spending and having together. So I take my hat off to both of you in terms of this concept, this idea. It was all his idea, right?
Yeah.
The podcast was my idea. The topic was his idea.
Yeah.
We need to give him credit.
It conned me into this. I'm stuck.
But there's so much value from both angles. So I love that you're doing this together. There's so much learnings that I suppose from my perspective, thinking about my own kids, there's so much I wish I can prepare them for life. And there's so much I wish I can share, but so much of it you need to experience for yourself. But through these kinds of conversations, I think there's so much that's transferred. In terms of learnings, even if you haven't experienced things for yourself, things to look out for. And then in terms of the topic, demystifying and putting CEOs, leaders on a pedestal, unnecessarily so, is really a great platform to just make it more real. And that's what I feel very strongly about. Authentic leadership, leaders with heart, leaders that are vulnerable. So yeah, you speaking my language.
Speaking your language. I mean, I wish I was him, in this, because, meeting all this different people early enough with different opinions, different personal stories and beliefs, and dietary kind of style and requirements, which is very different. And I remember when I read the book called Never Eat Alone by Patrick Barazzi, which was basically talking about networks and connecting with people, and I made it a point that every time I was traveling, I talked to the person that I sat next to just to get to know them better and their beliefs and all that. And it's been, every experience has been very educational for me. And that's why I was saying I wish I was him, to kind of experience meeting different people early enough to kind of, demystify a lot of things, because there's a way of putting leaders and CEOs and people like you in a box to say, I'm sure you eat a very good meal every night. Before you told us you vegetarian and vegan, caviar and having a drink of your choice and sit in a jacuzzi and
no chance. So it's hardcore mothering happening at night.
So people don't realize that as a leader and a CEO, and they see the website and the company where you are at Senton Gate, it's like, wow, this is life at the
nice
fast
life
lane and beautiful. Living on a mansion, on a hill, and a supercar every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you very much for taking the time to spend the afternoon with us. We really appreciate that. Probably enjoyed it the most, touching the core of what we discuss here in terms of wellness. And you are the mother of wellness in the company that you're running. So thanks for the contribution. Hopefully we'll be able to collaborate in a bigger way. What we like to do here is do something in person with the CEOs or the leaders who showed up here to share more to a much more bigger audience, like the Gibbs platform or others.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think it's great to get this content out there for the very purposes that you have described. So happy to collaborate, and I'm glad that we've met.
Yeah, thank you very much.